The moment I cross into the DR, I start to see what this crackdown looks like. On a 75-kilometer bus ride, we pass 8 security checkpoints, in which security personnel board the bus to eye who is on it and in some cases check papers. But each time we stop, they seem to only check the papers of the same few passengers.
We just checked the passports of the 3 darkest dudes on the bus. Me and the 2 guys in front of me were the darkest guys on this bus. And you were the only passports they checked.
That's my translator, Pascal. He's an American citizen, but everywhere we go in the DR, security forces keep asking him for his passport. Halfway through the journey, we pull off the road into a facility where a few young military guys are sitting around, and our driver brings this woman and her 2 children over to the military guys. She's speaking in perfect Dominican Spanish to them, claiming that her children are Dominican and that the driver brought us to this checkpoint to turn her in because she's black. None of this seems to matter. She doesn't have her papers, and her skin color seems to be all the guards need to see.
Parce que ou konon déjà konon pas dans pays ou question de bagarre pas joindre exact 100% même chose là il gauche pour comporter dans mes étrangers ils ont comme ça parce que si on connaît bien par exemple moi même ici me 10 ans ici
grand pile mix haïtien avec dominicain
pas pile mais on connaît que haïtien ont des gens différents mais ça on connaît ça n'importe bas entrer des gens comportent dominicain il t'a senti mal avant bouchon mais même côté noir ouais le couleur des pour comporter comme ça doit même tout le monde pas de question de racisme pas une question pas capable pas imaginer ça pas ça.
Haiti's land and people were abused when it was a colony of slaves. The world then shunned it with embargoes and independence debts when it was a new nation. And today, Haitians in the DR experience racism that is overt enough to be enshrined in law.
Okay, so according to Vox, Haiti is a shithole for 3 reasons. First, France exploited them and ruined their land by overfarming during the colonization of the 1700s. Second, following independence, the entire world, which is racist by the way, shunned Haiti and refused to trade with her. And third, it's the Dominican Republic's fault, those racists. This explanation is clearly lacking. If I were to make a pie chart explaining Haitian poverty, none of these supposed factors would feature. So it must be the environment, right? The environment's making them poor, because it obviously isn't the people, that'd be racist. But there's a huge problem here, because Haiti has an ideal environment for wealth generation. They've got a mild climate, you can farm all year round. Yes, they have some storms, but generally it's beaut. They've got fertile soil. The French overfarming was long ago and is no longer a factor. And indeed, one university student, Alex Tupper, an agricultural business senior, went to Haiti, established a farm, and manages to produce 11,000 meals a month. The land is rich in minerals, if only they bothered to get them out of the ground. It's absolutely stunning, i.e. perfect for a booming tourism trade. The seas are full of expensive seafood, which could become a prosperous export industry. Plus, it's one of the gateway islands to the Americas. It's perfectly located for thriving trade, for hosting ships and getting all those sailors and cruise passengers to spend. So given all of this, there's really no reason for Haiti to be poor at all. Johnny Harris has, either deliberately or because he's so ideologically possessed by egalitarian fantasies that his brain just isn't able to go there, missed the most important factor. It's the people, the human capital of the country. In comparing the Dominican Republic to Haiti and wondering why the wealth gap, simply compare the average IQ of the 2 nations. The Dominican Republic is at 82 and Haiti has an average of 67. And right there we've pretty much answered our question. Richard Lynn, a British professor of psychology, and Tatu Van Hanen, a Finnish professor of political science, conducted IQ studies in more than 80 countries, and they both argue that differences in national income are highly correlated with differences in the average national intelligence quotient. The average IQ of a nation is incredibly incredibly closely related to that nation's wealth. And why do they have different average IQs? Because the Dominicans are a mix of Spanish and South American. The genetic makeup of the population is approximately 60% European, whereas the Haitians are 95% Afro-Haitian, descended from sub-Saharan Africans from the east of the continent. If we look at a global map of average IQ, it's pretty obvious that the people in Haiti come from the red areas of Africa, and people in the DR come from Europe and South America. They're of different stock, and one of them got more European admixture. It really is that simple, folks, and these biological differences between the two populations lead to dramatic differences in social and economic outcomes. So let's look at the Dominican Republic first. It's got a small population of around 10 million people, and it has a GDP of $71.5 billion and a growing economy. It's a relatively prosperous place. It's not rolling in it, but it's getting by. The average life expectancy is 73.6 years, the literacy rate is a fair 92%, and the nation can boast both political and economic stability. Yes, crime rates are a problem, yes, corruption is commonplace, but it's still a safe destination for tourists, and most people enjoy a secure lifestyle. This is a country that's basically making a success of it. People are hard-working and they're making the most of their resource-rich land and favorable environment. But compare that to Haiti, with a population almost identical to the DR's at 10 million and an almost identical setup in terms of resources, location, and so on. The GDP is just over $8 billion. Violent crime is rampant and sexual violence a common phenomenon. The country is incredibly corrupt, it lacks proper infrastructure, and just 61% are literate. Less than 3% of Haitians finish primary school, and it has one of the lowest per capita incomes on earth, endemic drug problems, high infant mortality, primitive healthcare, and its dominant religion is voodoo. Haiti is one of the most dangerous, superstitious, backward nations on earth, and this is nothing new. At the beginning of the 20th century, a British member of the Royal Geographic Society, Hesketh Pritchard, travelled to Haiti on a fact-finding mission to see how the country was faring 100 years into its independence. He wanted to see if the Haitians, given all the advantages in the world, could govern themselves, to address the HQ, as it were. This is what he wrote. The present condition of Haiti gives the best possible answer to the question, and, considering the experiment has lasted for a century, perhaps also a conclusive one. For a century, the answer has been working itself out there in flesh and blood. The Negro has had his chance, a fair field and no favor. He has had the most beautiful and fertile of the Caribbees for his own. He has had the advantage of excellent French laws. He inherited a made country with Cap Haitien for its Paris. And here was a wide land, sown with prosperity, a land of wood, water, towns and plantations, and in the midst of it, the black man was turned loose to work out his own salvation. What has he made of the chances that were given to him? At the end of 100 years of trial, how does the black man govern himself? What progress has he made? Absolutely none.
Loving the chicken. Lalo? No, that's a crazy man.
Oh, you done that Lalo?
Not loving it.
Then everybody know you're not Haitian.
How's business for her? Can you ask her?
Not really good this time.
Not good.
No. I mean, the country situation. People don't have any income, any money, so they can't buy food in the street. So you can imagine that. That's why you see a lot of guys here begging, you know, can you buy me some food? Can you give me something?
When you make television anywhere, people stop and stare. Crowds form. Usually, they're just curious. Here, we notice the kids, gathering just outside the view of our lenses. Not looking at me or the cameras, but looking at what we're eating. One plate of food would be a good day for any of them. And here, I'm painfully aware, I'm eating 3.